Hi everyone and welcome back to Bushel Park Golf Club. So today we're going to be looking at something a little bit more topical. We're actually going to look at shots and how we play pitch shots, approach shots from some of the bare lies or some of the burnt lies that we get on the golf course at this time of year. So at the moment in the UK we've not had much rain for the whole of July, so we are getting some real baked parts in the fairway. It does mean that the grass is quite thin, so you are hitting off a very small amount of grass, and it's very firm underneath as well. So what we always worry about is the club bouncing. So bouncing is where the club either hits the ground first before the ball, and we get the bounce of the club hitting the ground and the club almost jumps up. It can cause you to hit thin shots, cause you to hit a whole multitude of bad shots, but we were looking to get that strike pattern where we can get ball just before the turf's clipped to produce the nice strike and good flight that we're after. So we're going to look at ways to encourage that, especially with the pitching. So a little bit easier with the full swing, got a little bit less bounce on some of the clubs that you're using there. You're also always moving forward with the body weight, but with a pitch shot, there's a little less going on. It's a shorter swing, so often people will hang back, so they're going to hit their shot and tend to have a tendency to lean away from the ball. That's going to encourage you to hit ground first and this club to bounce. So the first thing we look to do is we're going to move the ball slightly further back in the stance. So for me, when I pitch, I always have it in this front portion of my stance and setup. I'm actually going to move it back just in front of centre. Everything else about the shot's going to stay the same. So my weight's going to be on my left side, my hand's going to be forward, I'm going to be down mid part of the grip, and the swing's going to be very similar as well. Because of those slight changes, it's going to help me to impact the ball first rather than the ground first and get that cause of that club to bounce. But it will affect the shot slightly. So one thing that is going to change, this ball's going to come out slightly flatter, so it's going to come out a little bit lower, and it's also going to travel a little bit longer as well. So we're only talking about 3 or 4 yards longer, but it all can make a difference when you're attacking a flag. The shot I have here is 84 yards long, so I've got my 58-degree wedge, so they're going to have some height to this compared to if we was using a wedge or a 9-iron. But because of that setup change, this shot would normally go 79 yards. I'm going to get that extra couple of yards out of the ball, and it's also going to spin quite quickly as well, so we should get this to sit nice and fast. So got my ball slightly back in the stance, closer to the middle of my feet, weight on that left side, and then I've got my controlled wedge shot, which for me is 3/4 swing. Ball's going to come out slightly flatter than I normally expect. Stop nice and quickly because it's going to have plenty of spin, but I've guaranteed myself to strike the ball first rather than the ground first and get the club to bounce up. So the second shot we're going to be looking at is our greenside finesse wedges. So our finesse wedges offer this hard, compact lie with very little grass underneath the ball. It becomes quite tough to get that delicateness to the shot without getting the bounce kind of encroaching into it and getting the ball to pop up too high or actually get the leading edge to hit the golf ball first. So what we do is we get ourselves set as a generic finesse wedge, so balls forward, weights forward. That's all the same as we would normally do for a finesse shot, but we want to help with some loft here. So I'm going to open the hands, turn the club to add the extra loft. Now in doing so, I also increase the bounce. It's a little bit like a bunker shot. I've got too much bounce here now for this shot, but in a bunker that'd be fine. But what we're then going to do is just lean the hands forward to get the bounce down. It does take a bit of the loft off that we've just added, but we need the bounce to be going as well as increasing some loft. So rather than getting the club face square and leading forward and de-lofting the club completely, we open it up to add the loft, lean the hands forward to decrease the loft a bit, but we still keep a lot more loft there than we would have if the club was square. And we've also reduced the bounce, so it gives me a much more consistent strike that I can hit down on the golf ball and not get this club to bounce off the actual turf and hit into the middle of the ball. So ball forward, weight forward, club face open, re-grip, and then my hand's going to go forward to bring that bounce down. And now I can concentrate on the length of swing that I need to get the ball right the way back to my target, keeping the strike on the ball first. So it gives plenty of loft and gets me away from fear of this club bouncing and hitting the middle of the golf ball. So as always, thanks for watching. I hope you all have a great summer of golf and happy golfing. We'll see you all really soon.